So one of the main aspects which need to be discussed when we talk about marketing departments not using Gen AI to the fullest is the usage in analytics, and that's why I really like this chart because it tells us, the increasing maturity of using analytics within marketing, right? And with and right at the right at the bottom is descriptive, which is basically when you look at a Google Analytics dashboard, or when you look at a LinkedIn ad dashboard, or a Google ad dashboard. Basically the data, the metrics which tell you what happened. Right? That's the typical level at which most marketing departments are, and we'll be taking the example of a LinkedIn ad campaign, which you can literally run it for just 3 or 4 weeks, and you'll get a wealth of data. Yeah, so you'll get to see a whole wealth of data. Even if you do for 3 weeks, you'll get a ton of data with respect to, like, this is basically the job titles which responded to the ad. It will tell you, the can tell you the industries which responded well, the company sizes which responded well, right? So the point that I'm making here is that even if you run a campaign for 3 weeks, the kind of data which is generated is big, right? And it's tough for the human mind to wrap your head around it, and that's really one of the I'm I think some of you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about summarization. The Gen AI is great with respect to summarization. Let me show you an example of that. And so, if I mean, we are not going to get into the prompting, which is required for generating this kind of output, but basically it can look at your data and tell you, for example, that marketing managers and directors, are they are the ones who responded, particularly from IT and finance. They responded the best, and and you can of course drill it down and say, okay, responded in the sense, tell me in terms of impressions or clicks or final conversions. I mean, that's a matter of detail, but summarization just by itself is one of the main, like, Gen AI is excellent when it comes to summarization. When you talk about hallucination, it is when you ask it to create data, but when you ask it to summarize, the hallucination is really limited, right? So that's right at this level, when you are looking at a ton of data, you can use the Gen AI approach to summarize it, right? So that's the first, I would say, takeaway here. With The other thing is, I'm not going to be talking about diagnostics so much. Typically, this is, I mean, generally done by bigger companies. I'm also not going to be talking about predictive, because again, it's not a use case which is very common, right? And predictive is, even if you go to your Google Analytics dashboard, you will see that there are models available by which you can predict based on historic data, right? The more interesting and the more potentially wide scale use of Gen AI is prescriptive, or recommendation. Yeah. And let me show you what I mean by that. So coming back, right? You coming back to the same example. You've done a LinkedIn ad campaign for 3 weeks, and you can prompt it to give you recommendations in various departments, right? So you can see the kind of recommendations, um, with respect to, for example, it's telling you that, you need to increase the investment in such and such audience segment, right? Or it's asking you to look at, like, it's telling you that people who have clicked on a video you kind of retarget them. It's telling you that, okay, this particular the ad which is based on the job title that did better. So it's giving you recommendations in a jiffy, right? And this is like, it saves you a lot of time. Yeah, that's the first thing. Now, uh, well, you know I mean, when you see some of it, you might say, okay, hey, I kind of knew it. I already knew it, that, by doing dynamic targeting, you can get better results. The point is that it gives you this very quickly, by you just providing the performance data, and it pinpoints that, okay, this is what you need to do, right? Now, how do you take this kind of uh, recommendations to the next level, right? And very important point here is that you need to tell the system what your goals are, right? So for example, if you like basically say, okay, I actually, my business development team tells me that this 200 to 500 employee, this company size is actually the best in terms of conversions and long term ROI. Now can you tell me what is to be done, right? So that I get the maximum response from that audience, right? Or what is it? How can the communication be changed for this particular segment? Because that's really the segment which I'm interested in. You can, when you tell the system your goals, when you tell your system the restraints. I mean, you can pretty much tell that you have a budget constraint and you cannot do video ads, and you could just tell me about image ads, right? So goals, restraints, these are the things which will help let you do personalized recommendations. And the other bit is giving context, right? And that's really like, you can actually give it like a year's data, and you'll see that the recommendations are a lot richer. You'll see that's, something which has happened 6 months back, if it is repeating, that kind of trend is happening again, it will pull your attention to that, right? So that's really the prescriptive, or the recommendation. That this is a very powerful use case for Gen AI. And the last bit is proactive, which is like end-to-end AI, which is like, okay, the recommendation of, why don't you just go connect to my LinkedIn ad dashboard and tweak the tweak the controls for me, and implement the changes, right? Probably with some human intervention in between, but that's the end-to-end AI bit, right? So uh, I mean, the takeaway here is that most departments are doing descriptive, and let's start. If you start doing, the most basic thing is summarizing, right? And after you do that, then you go to prescriptive and recommendation. And then when you give this system your goals, your restraints, and that's what I'm talking about right now, is now a custom AI agent, right? You'll have to do a custom implementation where you tell it your goals and restraints, and then you'll find that you'll really like the recommendation that it's giving. Yeah. Thanks.